Thanks to the Father, we've made it this far. Thanks to the Father, we know who we are.
Good morning, everyone. It is good to see you this morning, and I do agree with the statement that it is early, but it's always early at the TBC breakfast. Amen? I'm happy to be here with you today. If I do not know you, I'm Danny Reeves, pastor at First Baptist Corsicana, and what a humble honor has been given to me to be able to serve as the president of this great convention. 130 plus years that we have been a convention, and I'm just deeply, deeply honored. I think when you receive the chance to lead and represent a group of God's people, such as yourself and beyond, it is just very humbling, and that's been one of my emotions that I've had in recent days. I'm extremely thankful that God has seen fit to give me a chance to represent you. And as a Texas Baptist pastor, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to work with you. I want to represent you to the best of my ability. I'm deeply excited to serve with Joe Fields and Jim Heiligman. These two men, three pastors in this great state, and we want to really represent pastoral ministry and speak to churches as best we can. I am a Texas Baptist kid. I want you to know a little bit about me in that respect. Charles Inman is here today. He serves at First Baptist Monahans. I grew up at Southside Baptist in Monahans, and you know, it's interesting as a child, you don't really connect and understand Baptist roots. You don't understand your dependency upon the BGCT and your involvement in the BGCT, but certainly I did that growing up in a strong Texas Baptist church in Monahans, Texas, out in the West Texas oil patch. You moved from there, and I had the privilege of being called to the ministry at the Paisano Baptist encampment outside of Alpine. And if you've ever been there, you know that that's just a little taste of glory. At least that's what we like to tell people. And that's a Texas Baptist camp, and I didn't realize then how deeply connected I was becoming to the BGCT. From there, even as a college student, I go to Howard Payne University and enter into that wonderful Christianity school, the School of Christianity there, and what a blessing that was for me to experience that. And yet I don't think I understood even then how deeply tied I was to the Baptist General Convention of Texas. Had the privilege of being a student minister in several churches in this state. I've had the chance now to serve as pastor in several places. What a blessing. I think I finally woke up to the fact that I was definitely a Baptist General Convention of Texas man when I arrived at Truett Seminary. I did my MDiv there. Praise God, I got to go back with Dr. Ron Cook and do my Doctor of Ministry at Truett. And I'm now so privileged to be the pastor at First Baptist Church in Corsicana. I got to be our second vice president last year. And if you've ever been an officer, you understand immediately how rich and valuable that experience is to begin to meet the incredible men and women across our state that really just work to propel the gospel, that work to grow the kingdom. And that's really been a joy for me to be a part of that this past year. The things that I've been thinking about as we launch into a new year is really the unity that is ours in Jesus Christ. I've been focusing on Acts chapter 2, just a very simple statement there about that New Testament church as they were launching and beginning in this kingdom endeavor. It just simply says, and all the believers were together. How valuable that is, you know, to see God's people work in unity. And then Psalm 133, how good it is when brothers dwell together in unity. That's meaningful to me. And then you go to the Apostle Paul's words in Romans chapter 8, and who shall separate us from the love of Christ? And we are more than conquerors. And you know, the we-ness of the gospel, the us-ness of the gospel is something that's just powerful. You know, we see that in sports analogies and metaphors about the value of the team. And that's how we feel when we come together as a convention in these days. And so that's very rich for me. And so I want us to stand for truth. I want us to lead out with compassion, but also conviction. And in closing, I'm just going to take you to some words that I've been dwelling on. These words made the very introduction of the theological portion of my doctoral dissertation. And typically when you finish those dissertations, you tuck that on the shelf and say, praise God, I don't have to look at that again. And I can't say that I'm not there partly, but it was a preaching project that means a great deal to me. And I began to think about this leading prayer that I wrote in that section of the paper. Sir Francis Drake set out from England in 1577, bound for America. 3 years and 36,000 miles later, at the perennial risk of his life, he and his men had circumnavigated the globe. And this is the prayer that he prayed. I think this is the prayer for me as your president. This is the prayer for us as a convention. Disturb us, Lord, when we are too well pleased with ourselves, when our dreams have come true because we have dreamed too little, when we arrive safely because we sailed too close to the shore. Disturb us, Lord, when the abundance of things we possess, we have lost our thirst for the waters of life. Having fallen in love with life, we have the dream of eternity. And in our efforts to build a new earth, we have allowed our vision of the new heaven to dim. Disturb us, Lord, to dare more boldly, to venture on wider seas, where storms will show your mastery, where losing sight of land we shall find the stars. We ask you to push back the horizons of our hopes and to push into the future in strength, courage, hope, and love. Friends, in this world that we live, it's time for God's church to set sail into the stormy seas, to raise our mast high and sail victoriously in the strength that we have through Jesus Christ, our Lord. And all God's people said, Amen. Thank you.
Thanks to the Father,